I'm Mike Uyak. I love to try new things, and I've had culinary adventures all around the world, as well as right at home. I've had really wonderful food, as well as some really horrible food. I'd like to share some of my adventures with you, and we'll see if I have what it takes to fix whatever goes wrong. This is Recipe Redemption. Hello, and welcome to another episode of Recipe Redemption. Today, I'm just going to try something I've rediscovered in my perusal of the internet that I think deserves testing. The impossible pie. I've heard of this before, and it just confuses me. It has only 8 or 9 ingredients, and the instructions couldn't be simpler. Dump all the ingredients into a blender, pulse them for a few seconds just to combine, pour it into a greased pie pan and bake at 350 degrees for an hour. Cool, and then chill overnight. Enjoy. Magically, these blended ingredients cook up into separate layers: a pie crust, a sort of custard filling, and a toasty, crunchy topping. So today, I want to find out 2 things. 1, is it a pie? Does this actually work? And 2, is it any good? Does it require redeeming? So, enough talking, let's get to baking.
Okay, this is pretty simple. Into your blender, 2 cups of milk. I have 2% here. Followed by 1/4 cup of, it calls for margarine, but I'm doing milk butter. I went ahead and microwaved it a little bit just to kind of soften it up. And 4 whole eggs. Uno, dos, tres, and cuatro. Next I have 1/2 cup of flour, 1 whole cup of white sugar with a 1/2 teaspoon of baking powder in it, and 1 cup of coconut. Now let up the blender and just mix to combine. And it's literally just a few seconds. That's all it takes. Then just pour the whole mess into a pre-greased pie pan. I have a glass quiche pan actually. Place that in a 350 degree oven and bake for 1 hour. And it should look something like this when it comes out. Little jiggly, that's fine. Let it cool to room temperature and then chill overnight.
It's okay. Looks like a pie. Definitely has the 3 layers that they talk about. I'm still dubious about the crust, but... And the top is a little tough. Interesting. Very coconutty, as expected. Light custardy center. The crust, let's see if I can actually separate some crust. Whoops. The crust is not really crusty. It's still pretty soft. And it's basically, and the intention is, it's basically overcooked custard. Which is exactly what it is. So, in terms of pie, this is not one of the greatest pies in the world. especially if you actually expect a nice flaky pie crust. You kind of need an actual pie dough. But that being said, for the amount of effort that actually went into making this, it's pretty good. Something that takes all of 5 to 7 minutes to prepare and an hour to bake. It's pretty easy, and it's not bad. It's sweet, but it's not overly sweet. The coconut that rose to the top did in fact toast, so there is a little bit of caramelization. It gives it a little bit more depth of flavor. It's not bad. Notice I'm still eating it. I'll give it a pass. It's not bad at all. It's not one of the great pies of the world. This will not change your life. I've eaten most of the slice, and the angels have yet to begin singing. So, yeah, it's okay. And I think for a certain generation of people who probably grew up making this stuff, and this may very well be. This is one of those recipes I think would actually be good to start your kids on, because they can learn how to measure things out carefully, and with some supervision, put them all into the blender, and you can teach them how, never ever ever stick your fingers in there and blah blah blah. Especially, and always have the lid on when it's running and all that, and some supervision with the oven, of course. But otherwise, it's something that a kid could make. Give them the recipe, watch them carefully, and they could make it and feel proud. I made a pie. And then later on, the sort of senior level baking lessons where you actually start going into actual pie dough. But for a quick and easy dessert, kind of hard to beat. Not half bad. I would say for certain people who have problems with sort of squishy textures, since there isn't really any sort of demarcating line between the custard middle and what is supposed to be the crust but is really just overcooked custard, the textural component is a little squishy, and some people might not like that. But I don't mind it. Which isn't really saying much considering the kinds of things that I put in my mouth already. You know what I mean. So, I guess on a scale of 10, this is about a 6? 6.5? Not great, but not bad at all. So, on that note, I'd like to thank you for watching. If there's any other vintage recipes that you've come across that you want me to try, please let me know. And otherwise, I'll see you here next time, here on Recipe Redemption. Thanks for watching.